Welcome, everybody, to Step Up the podcast, Step Up, Make a Difference, the podcast with Mike Peacock and Marty Durden. It is already the first week of November, and we are excited as we can be tonight because we have an extra special guest. And Marty, hope your week has gone well, but I want to turn it over to you and let you introduce our very special guest for this episode of Step Up, Make a Difference.
Well, we're honored to have the athlete, the one and only Coach Charlie Ward, who's done in that rarefied air of athletes. He's one of a very chosen few. But the thing about Coach Ward that I admire the most is he is a man of God, and that is what his purpose in life is. It's not accolades from man. It's all about pleasing the audience of one. Coach Ward, we're honored to have you here tonight, man. Thank you so much.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on, and just excited about being on the podcast with you all. Hopefully, I can add some value to this group. There's a lot of wisdom on here, so I appreciate y'all having me.
Well, we want to
Coach, I tell you,
Go ahead, Coach.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was just going to say we are just so honored to have you, and we're so thankful that you can take the time. Being a head college basketball coach now, this is the time of year when things really kind of get chaotic and hectic for you right before the season starts, and we surely appreciate you taking a little bit of time and being with us.
Well, I'm grateful for you guys having me, and yes, it is chaotic, but that's all the time in this business. I guess as any business that's working to thrive, you're gonna have something going on all the time. So we're grateful.
Well, listen, thanks for taking time out, man. And I just want to congratulate you. Hey, you have two numbers retired at Florida State, number 17 for football and 12 for basketball. I have never heard of that happening ever anywhere. What an honor. Congratulations.
I appreciate it. And it's definitely a great honor for anyone. And I still think about, where I came from and the opportunity that arose for me to have a chance to go to college, earn a degree while playing two sports that I enjoyed and loved doing. And now to be honored with both numbers being retired. Of course, just like anything else, through it all, you need people on that journey to help you achieve goals. One of my goals going to college was not to have jerseys retired. Um, it was to, one, get a degree, two, be able to enjoy my college experience while doing something that I enjoyed and loved doing, and it was free to be able to earn a scholarship. And so all those things, came true. And it's like every young man or young woman that goes to college, their goal once they graduate is to get a job.
Yes.
And so I was afforded that blessing as well, to get a job that everyone aspire and want the place they're trying to get, which is a professional athletic basketball, football, baseball, whatever sport it may be. And so I was blessed to be able to do all those things. And, like I tell my guys all the time, when opportunity arises, you have to rise to the occasion. And then you have to learn from, your failures. So it's all part of God's plan for you. But in the end, you just want to enjoy your experience.
That's right. That's what it boils down to. And one thing I wanted to ask you, Coach, is why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're doing, that project that you got going, because we want all of our listeners. We have a lot of Florida State and Charlotte Ward fans in our listening audience. Tell us a little bit about your needs, and I know you're raising a lot of money to get that done. So take a few minutes and let the audience know about that.
Well, our family foundation, we're rooted in Christian principles uh, through sports education, arts, and wellness is our focus that we support youth character development. And with that, we started a project that is the heart of our foundation, which is the Charlie Ward Champions Ranch, and it's kind of our vehicle for our mission to be able to continue to make an impact on young people and also families. And it's a campus uh, that's based on partnerships, that
Mhm.
nonprofit and for-profit partnerships. But you've seen our campus uh, across the country. We're just doing it as a nonprofit. Some people do it for profit. So you see multiple fields. You see large indoor court facilities, um, and large indoor, you know, turf or other facilities. That's what we're looking to have. But we're doing it, as a nonprofit. Of course, we will be able to do some for profit because that's our model to be able to support young people coming,
Mm-hmm.
along with upkeep of the facilities, and pouring back into those that have helped us, workers who've helped us, along the way. And we're doing it with other nonprofits and for profits that are bringing their organizations to the Champions Ranch to form like a coalition in a sense
Uh-huh.
of services that we can offer there. And so one of the organizations we partner with is a Boys and Girls Club here, the Big Bend Boys and Girls Club, and they will have a freestanding building. They currently don't have a freestanding building. They're in the neighborhoods that they serve, but this will be their first flagship freestanding building here in the capital city. And it'll be a great opportunity for us to partner with them um, while servicing the community.
I think that's awesome. How would anybody who's interested in making a donation contact you? Just go to the website.
Yes,
Uh,
it's the championsranch.org. They can go ahead and see what the project is, and there should be a way that they can donate on there.
well, you hear it, audience. There's not a more worthy cause that I can think of than that. Uh, the best platform that exists for Christian influence in the world today is coaches. I think coaches have a unique standing in society, and I think you're leaning in and leveraging that, Coach Ward. I think it's a brilliant idea.
Yes, I mean, I've been blessed to be able to be coached by some great Christian coaches, followers of Christ, and they lived it. That was one of the things I admired about my high school coach, Coach Charlie Green. He was a man of faith, and he wasn't afraid, and he lived it. I was blessed to, of course, be coached by my dad, and Coach Bobby Bowden, Coach Mark Rick. All these men of faith were, in my life, and I saw what it looked like. And then I also was on the other side where, there weren't men of faith in a sense, and I saw what that looked like as well. And so it was just, we know the impact that we can make on young people. But as part of God's plan for us to be able to, do that, He's given us this platform, so we have to make sure we take advantage of it for, you know, for His glory, living through us, because you never know who's watching. People are always watching you all the time. That doesn't mean we're perfect, but people are always watching how you respond to certain things. When things aren't going your way, people are watching how you respond. They say you're a Christian, and all these different things, and they just they're looking to see how you're gonna respond to that adversity. We talk as coaches, we talk a lot about fighting through adversity, resilience, and all those different things. And the players, they're watching to see you. But the thing is, as a man of faith, when you mess up, you have to acknowledge that you messed up. Not
Yep.
try to say, "Oh well," and or provide an excuse. Just own up to it, because that's what you want them to do. And like I said, that's why I say people are always watching you, because we're gonna be faced with adversity. We're gonna be faced, have success, but people want to see how you respond, and what have you. So I'm just grateful that I have an opportunity, a platform to be able to share Christ through the way I live, just like coaches that I mentioned earlier have done for me.
What was it like playing for Coach Bobby Bowden?
Well, he was genuine in everything he does. I mean, he definitely had a heart of gold. When it came down to just treating people with respect, he never knew a stranger, and the things that he and put input in us by the way he lived this life. With the devotionals before every game. You know, he encouraged us to go to FCA. He took us to church, two churches every summer. So all those things, I've heard stories about him. Really looking out for young men, to try to help them, even when they've gone through, struggles. He's allowed them to go off and then come back, holding scholarships for them. So those things, you see and hear, and it's just all about, having a relationship with the Lord and what that looks like. Um, and so that's just who he was. I mean, he changed what he did from all the years that he had been coaching when I became the quarterback. I mean, he had been running a certain system for all those years, and when I became the quarterback, he allowed the coaches to go out and find a system that potentially could help us be successful with my skill set. And then he was hands off from the play calling, which was another just God moment, because most coaches who've been doing that for quite some time probably wouldn't have just said, "Y'all go do it." But that's just who he was as well. I mean, he trusted his coaches. He coached them. He allowed the coaches to go out and, coach, and he coached them. And so I was just grateful for him. That showed great sacrifice on his part, and it played a big part, and I believe in our big part in our success, or his success as well, long term.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a guy that I always admired. He actually graduated from the same college that my dad did, but my dad was a preacher, and Coach Bowden went on to go into the coaching profession and go. But it was Howard College back then, which became
Mhm.
Samford University
Sanford.
now, and he um, had a tremendous career and a tremendous impact on a lot of players. And you, of course, were one of his greatest, as far as you had the honor of being named the Heisman Trophy winner while you were playing for Coach Bowden. And tell us what it was like going through that season, um, as the quarterback of the Seminoles, and being honored with that trophy as the best player in college football.
Well, you know, my senior year was It was a fun year, say the least. My junior year was a little bit of a struggle early on, and then caught fire late in the season, which kind of catapulted me to my senior year. And it was one of the years where we were cruising along during the season because we had a lot of experienced guys coming back, and we had a little bit of a hiccup against Notre Dame, which was a very good game. Ended up losing by 7 points on the road. I had the ball late. End up throwing an incompletion. I think we were around the 25 or 30 yard line, trying to score on the fourth down, last play. Just didn't work, but it was a great learning lesson for us. We were able, back then, we were praying that we could stay in the top 2 or 3 because they were only taking 2 teams to the championship. And if you had one loss, and regardless of how many times you had been the number 1 team or 2 team or top 5, if you had one loss, you normally drop. But for us during that time, we lost to Notre Dame, and then Notre Dame turns around and loses to Boston College the following week. We took a little bit out of them, so they didn't have much to give for Boston College. And we didn't drop very far. I think we dropped to number 3, and Notre Dame moved to number 2, and Nebraska became the number 2 team. And so when Notre Dame lost to Boston College, they ended up moving us. We had to go and win out, of course, and we ended up doing that. That next game, when Boston College lost, we went out and beat NC State like 62-3. It was some crazy number. So back then we had to take it out on our opponents if we lost the game. And then we ended up having to go to the Swamp, which was one of the games. Of course, it was a rivalry game, and we always those games are always going to be tough, regardless of where we played it. But the thing that we were so motivated about was, they had won 23 straight home games, and that was their winning streak. And our goal was to go in and win the game, to break the streak. Nothing like a Seminole Gator rivalry with some little motivation. And so we went in and we controlled the game for 3 quarters for the most part. Fourth quarter rolled around and they went on a run to cut the lead to about, I think it was 5 points or 6 points, whatever, it's something. And we had the ball and we needed to put together a drive to close the game out. First and second down, they got stops. It was very, very loud during that time. And third down rolled around and it was still loud. Before I rolled to the left and I hit Warwick Dunn for about 70+ yards for a touchdown, and became very, very quiet so quickly. And we ended up going on to win that game, and we were provided opportunity to play in a national championship game. And we knew at that time that if we could ever get into a national championship game, we could win us a championship, because we had gone on like a 10 game. We had won like 7 or 8 or 9, whatever it was, bowl games in a row. And we knew if we could get into a championship game in the bowl game, there was a chance that we could win. And so we were afforded an opportunity against Nebraska. We knew it wasn't going to be easy, even though we played them the year before and ended up winning by 14 points. But we knew it wasn't going to be, an easy game. And it wasn't. I mean, it was a struggle, especially offensively. But the one consistent that we had both of my years of playing was our defense was very, very good. And so this game was no different. They held them down while we were struggling. to score. We were kicking field goals, and they held them down to where it gives us an opportunity to get the ball back with 1 minute 16 seconds. We were down, and we ended up driving down to kick the game-winning field goal to win the national championship, which was Coach Bowden's first and FSU's first national championship. So I was just grateful to be on that team. And that year was, ended the way that we wanted it to at the beginning.
Mhm.
And so it was very rewarding when it came down to it. Even the hiccup we had at Notre Dame, there was life and learning lessons in that, because we wanted to make sure that we did finish the championship game, because we weren't able to finish that Notre Dame game the way we wanted it. So just a great year overall. The ups and downs, it was more ups than down, but we were grateful for the opportunity to be able to win a national championship.
Yeah, I remember as the
Absolutely.
whole country was watching that game that night. That was incredible, man. I tell you.
Mhm.
Well, Coach, how are you settling in as the new head coach at FAMU? How is I know transition's always a learning experience. How are you liking it?
I mean, this is life. Everybody has a job, and we're working to navigate through whatever it is. But the experience has been very, very good. I'm grateful to be able to have a solid coaching staff, well-rounded coaching staff. They've made it a little bit easier. I've had some college guys who have shared their experience with us, and I have one high school coach similar to myself. That they're all trustworthy guys, but they bring something different. And we've had support from the community, from the university, and trying to just help change and elevate the program as a whole. And it's just great to be able to do it with people that care for our young men that's coming to our program. But also, Coach Bridget Gordon, who's our women's coach, she's been a huge blessing as well, because we partnered in a lot of different things. Of course, we traveled together on the alumni circuit, so we've had a lot of time to talk about certain things, and she's helped me navigate, because this is her third year at FAMU, and so it's been a great partnership. We're saying we share the same suite. Men's and women's basketball share the same suite. So we're navigating, the space, and we've had great responses from. We had our Hoops on the Hill, which is kind of similar to our Midnight Madness, where we had a scrimmage. Both the men and the women had a scrimmage, and then last night we had our first exhibition game, which was a very good turnout for an exhibition. And our guys played well enough for people to be excited about the next game, which is always what you want. And we're just navigating the space. We're working to make sure that we're making an impact on everyone that comes and touches our program. And so that's been a great blessing.
Absolutely. And Coach, I want to do something here we usually do with folks, and just kind of go back. I know you and Marty Durden go back a long way. Your dad was a coach, and Marty was a coach, and he met your dad, and in turn met you as a youngster. And you guys go way back. But Marty, you and Coach Ward, talk a little bit about that era of time when you got to know Charlie, and and his dad, and talk a little bit about that and your relationship that developed over those years.
Well, if you know Charlie Ward Sr., he was this Charlie Ward sitting before us here. He was the Charlie Ward before that. There's no difference. They're both tall, handsome, graceful men who just, if you ever met Charlie Ward Sr., you'll know what I'm talking about. He was a kind of guy that once you met him, you didn't forget him. He had this presence about him. And I was a young coach back in those days. I didn't know much. So I tried to lock on to people who were experienced. And he was one of those guys. And I think, Charlie, I don't remember exactly. I believe the first time I met you, you were playing a baseball game in Little League or in the Y over there. Weren't you in the YMCA in Thomasville baseball?
Yes, that's where I played most of my baseball, in Little League YMCA.
And I remember if you ever got on base and nobody was ahead of you, it was like a triple because he was going to steal second, he was going to steal third every time. You just couldn't. There was nothing. Hey, there was nothing you could do about it. It was just going to happen. So that's the way I met Coach Ward, and he's been a blessing my whole life. And I got to say this, that Coach Ward's done so much for the ministries that I've been in. Every time I call, he helps. He has always been there. And he, his dad was my hero when I was a young man. And now I'm an old man, and Charlie Ward Jr. is my hero now. And so that family has meant a lot. I mean, Charlie's got a brother who's a basketball coach too, Chad, who used to come we had a basketball camp, an FCA camp. And I remember the first time I saw him, I wasn't sure who he was. And I said, you know a guy named Charlie Ward? He said, yeah, he's my brother because y'all look so much alike. So it runs in the family, doesn't it? Coaching.
Yes, he's actually a pastor now. He's gotten out of coaching, athletic coaching, and now he's a pastor of church in Thomasville. But he's doing well. But Dad is Dad. Everybody knows him, and not just in town, but wherever he goes, everyone knows my dad. And even when he's not with me, and they see me, and they've had an encounter with him at some point, they always ask about him. So he's just one of those men that, once you met him, you remember him.
Yeah.
But he's been a great blessing to our family, and I'm grateful that he's my father. He's a great role model for us, and I didn't expect to be coaching, but I'm a coach because of him, essentially.
Coach, in the world today, in our research that we do in our nonprofit, Higher Standard, the problem with fatherless homes, as you know, is a huge issue in America. And to have a father like you had, that's quite an asset. And here you find yourself, you're probably around a lot of young men who are single parent, raised by single parents. And I think you probably noticed you're becoming, and you're getting older too, you're becoming that father figure to those kids. Do you feel that?
Well, I always talk about the village, as as a student athlete, we had a village of coaches that helped us. Of course, we had two parents. I had two parents in my house, but I also had people on the outside that were village parents, whether it's male or female, that kind of helped us stay on the straight and narrow. And for us is the same way, and that's one of our things we talk about. Even regardless of where it was, I've always talked about, being a family, because when you are part of our team, you're part of our family. So we're going to treat you that way. And so all these guys are, like our sons. And we want the best for them, and we're going to hold them accountable to, the things that they say they want. Um, and we just want to live our lives. We have a couple guys on our team that are fathers, so we just want to make sure that we're providing opportunities for them to be great, fathers for their kids, because sometimes they may not have a father, as you mentioned, and they don't have someone that they can look up to. And so we want to be that for them, to be able to help support them. So I'm all for, them bringing their kids to practice, to games, maybe not on the road, but at home, because I want them to be able to have their kids enjoy and be there as well. Because if they don't have childcare, it's this environment is very cool, because our team
Mhm.
managers, become babysitters for the guys while they're practicing, and so it's just a great environment. And that's essentially the way I was raised. My dad used to allow us to come to practice, and all the kids. And so, of course, you had to mind your business, you be quiet at certain times or what have you. But just being there and being in the presence of your father, even though they were working, is the type of environment we're looking to build as well.
Yeah. It's
Coach, tell
it's
us about you are a multi-sport athlete. You at Florida State, you played both football and basketball, and you played it at the highest level. And I think I read correctly in your bio that you also were drafted by some major league teams in baseball, and had an opportunity to do that as well. But when did you know, coming out of college as a dual sport athlete, when did you know that basketball was going to be your path?
Well, really, after the NFL draft ended and I didn't get drafted, so I went and put all my time and energy, or I should say more time and energy. I've done putting a lot of my time and energy before the NFL draft for the NBA draft. But after the NFL draft came and went, and I didn't get drafted, and then I just made a decision that I was going to put all my energy into preparing for the NBA draft, and God worked it out.
Mhm.
worked out really
Yep,
well, didn't it?
absolutely. It worked out
Coach
really
Ward,
well.
I know
Absolutely.
you got to go. We're coming to the end here, and we appreciate your time. But there's one question that we always ask everyone uh, before you leave, and I'm going to let Mike Peacock ask you this question.
Yeah, we ask every guy that comes on here that, and you've probably had this happen, being in your role as whether as a coach or um, just an advisor, but you have young men come to you all the time, and you have young men who are going into coaching, and um, they want some advice, some words of wisdom on what are some things that I need to do to be a good coach? What are some models that I need to follow, some steps I need to take? And what kind of advice would you give a young man who was sitting in front of you and say, I believe I want to become a coach? How do I go about doing that? Well, what would you tell a young man in that situation?
Well, just like any job, relationships are very valuable. Um, and you also want to make sure that you're working in an environment that suits your desire, your values.
Mhm.
Um, and some people take jobs or take opportunities for the experience, but they hate the experience because of, the environment, the culture, just the mindset of the leaders, and and sometimes it's just a bad experience, and you want to get out as soon as possible. So I just say you have to start somewhere, wherever that somewhere is. You make it happen. But I do know that relationships are very valuable, and making sure that you are equally yoked. I'll just use it from a biblical term, equally yoked with
Right.
that relationship, and just don't take a job or take an opportunity if you're not equally yoked. Um, and if you do, you want to get that experience for that you can learn from, that you won't repeat. Like you're work to try to find a better situation that is not like the one you just left. Um, but relationships are very, very key. That's in everything. And then starting out wherever, you know, I got my first coaching opportunity outside of the house coaching the kids when they were younger, little league sports. My first professional job was in the NBA, and it was after I retired, needed to retire, and Coach Van Gundy, who's one of my mentors, gave me an opportunity to see if coaching was something I wanted to do. And so I was an intern for 1 year, and he gave me the young guys that came through. One guy, and I, devised the plans, workout plans for them, watch film with them, all those types of things. And then the next year, a job opened up on the bench, on the staff, and he gave me that opportunity because he saw I showed up to work every day. I was working with a couple of young players, and he was just gave me that experience. And we had been tied to the hip for all my professional career, essentially. So, and there are other people, other guys who are head coaches now, professionally, that start out as video coordinators, or scouts, and so there's no, you know, getting your foot in the door is built around relationships, but it goes back to people are always watching to see how you handle where you are. If you're the scout or you're the video coordinator, if you're doing your job with excellence and your desire is to be a coach, then keep being the video coordinator, being the best, so that so people can see your light shine. It's not the most sexy when it comes to pay, possibly, but if they don't pay you, then make the work look good, so that they can think about, man, I got to keep this guy around. I got to keep this lady around, because their work ethic is just off the chart. And so just trying to make sure that you're doing your part when you get an opportunity, regardless of what area or spot it is on the team. Just do your part. As we always say, do your part, do it with excellence, and then people will, you know, elevate you. God will elevate you in due season. It may be 3 or 4 years doing that little job, whatever that little job is, but eventually, if you stick with it, you may get a bigger opportunity. So that would be my deal is make sure build relationships through your work ethic, and putting yourself in an environment that's going to produce, fruit.
Yep.
Coach, last thing, what's your favorite Bible verse?
Well, Colossians 3:23 is mine, and it's whatever you do it as working for the Lord and not for man.
Awesome. We appreciate you, Coach Ward. I know you're busy now. It means a lot to us that you did this, that you stepped up. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you guys having me on.
Coach, and we wish you the best as you head into this season at Florida A&M, looking for big things, and as you build and and do the job of a college head coach there in Tallahassee at Florida A&M, and I'll be looking. I know Marty and I will be watching the results as this year goes on, and looking to see what happens as you build that. And but we are, again, I'm going to echo what Marty said. We certainly appreciate you taking out of your busy schedule to be with us, and we're looking forward to seeing how things go there, and looking forward to the projects that you have going on. And one more time, tell people the website they can go to check out your ranch project and the name of it, and how they can donate.
It's championsranch.org.
Championsranch.org.
Mm-hmm.
Championsranch.org. Check out that project and what it's doing, what it's involving, and the purposes of it. And if you have it in your heart to donate to that, help Coach Ward and that project out. And as we always say, folks, wherever you are, when God opens a door, when you have the opportunity, step up and make a difference in somebody's life. And it'll not only make a difference in the world, but it will make a world of difference in your own life when you take that opportunity to step up and help somebody else. And we hope that all of you have a great week. It's already November. It's getting cool. It's getting crisp. And it's almost basketball season. Still got some football left, plenty of it, but almost basketball season. And before you know it, we'll be hearing holiday songs and all of that stuff going on as well. But again, Coach, thank you for being with us. Marty, have a wonderful week, my friend. Love you, brother. And
You too, man.
you guys enjoy this time of year, and we will see you again on the next edition of Step Up, Make a Difference.
Thank you, Coach.
My pleasure.
Well,
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
You too.
Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome. And I apologize again.
Coach Ward, let me know if I can help you, man. All you got to do is call. You know that I owe you.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. And I apologize. Thank you guys for
No problem.
forgiveness and missing earlier.
No problem. I stood you up once.
No problem whatsoever.
So we got even, man. Thank you,
All right,
baby.
good.
All right.
But y'all have a good
See
one.
you guys.
All righty.